Primary purpose of this video is to guide you from my perspective of a productivity nerd, and this is especially true if Notion might be too complex as a beginner in the digital productivity world and you're searching for the perfect Notion alternative before diving into your work. And this video is dedicated to giving you 7 overviews of each software and my personal recommendation at the end of this video, and which you should go to as a perfect Notion alternative. I will go over 7 Notion alternatives and explain them for whom it would make sense to use it. You still have the option to use Notion, but I assume many beginners find it too complex to start with and just want to focus on their work and productivity. So in short, Notion is like the Minecraft beta version. You can do everything with blocks, but you need to build it first by yourself. That can be difficult and complex because we first need to understand Notion and its various functions, and it's also similar to the IKEA system, which involves building it first by yourself, which kind of brings a dopamine and a feeling of accomplishment because we build it ourselves. But for many people, they just want to get their work done and not build systems. So they actually want more to execute on them. So first of all, we talk about the canvas options, which is the super simple version of digital productivity. Second of all, we talk about documents, versions, and second brains. And third of all, we talk about docs and canvas combined. So at the end, I'm going for the best overall Notion alternative, but I would not recommend clicking off the video and going to the end because there's a lot of differences between what you need and what might help you for your specific use case, because everything has their specific needs and cases, and maybe you don't really need the specific Notion alternative. Maybe you're searching for something else. So I would stick to this video until the end and watch the specific timestamps or everything by yourself. And for a short explanation, I will not go into super details about how it works because I will primarily give you the best productivity app for your individual needs. So stick to that. And in short, to give you a short introduction who I am actually, I'm Jeff. I'm a productivity nerd and entrepreneur who has read and studied multiple productivity solutions over the past few years. And I've also started my own startup a couple of years ago, actually 4 years ago when I was 21, and now I'm 25, or nearly 26, and suffered from colossal productivity and focus issues because I have ADHD. And after a couple of years, I have developed offline and online systems, routines, and habits that not only helps me, but also helps a lot of other people. And especially one of the huge problems I had in the beginning was not organizing my life, it was more organizing my digital productivity. Because when you have so much stuff on your computer, it's sometimes hard to keep being organized. So if you want to stay informed about the latest productivity tips and tricks, or if you're interested in personal growth and business that go beneath the surface, you might want to consider joining my newsletter. The link is down below. And we want to kick off this video with the first app. The first app we're going to talk about here is actually Milanote. Milanote is a canvas, a digital canvas specifically said, and we have a lot of options we have. So there's a lot of ways of visualizing a whiteboard, which is the specific use case. But one thing what does Milanote specifically great is actually their folder system. So they have a folder system inside a whiteboard, which gives you a specific edge and a lot of capabilities to more organized visualization. And it's also pretty good for collaborative teams. This is the specific way. It is a canvas, and what Milanote does for a canvas is actually perfect. It is great. I use it over a year now. I'm a huge fan, but there's still some things and limitations, and also in terms of pricing, which I will come up pretty soon. So as a pro, it is super simple, which is a big advantage for you. It is suitable for storing ideas and any visuals, which makes storing visually things super simple. It has a great design and really good and good ideas of features, which is quite unique in that case. And it's also probably the most enhanced version of a canvas style app, which does a lot of canvas, not really. And in this specific use case for creative people, honestly, it is nearly perfect, and that's the reason why I'm using it. And you can also further optimize the organization with a para method from Tiago Forte because of the folder structure, which does give you a specific way of documenting your life and your things. The cons about it, the free version is really limited. It is actually also quite expensive for new people, and you have a lot of different limitations. So compared to Notion, it is way too limited. There's no automations, no sprints, options, or effective template combinations and with the press of a button. So if you are a creative person, this might be a right app for you if you have a lot of visual design things. But there are also other options where we'll get later on in this video. And yeah, the free version is really limited. The $10 version does actually have everything. You don't need anything more. But if you're not willing to pay $10, there's better options later on in this video. Getting on the second app actually is Lucidspark. Lucidspark is pretty similar to Milanote. It is both a digital canvas. The difference between digital Milanote and Lucidspark is actually that Milanote is more for individual needs and Lucidspark is more for organizations and productivity with other people together, Zoom calls, project planning, agile development, brainstorming, and so on, but as a team. But for me, productivity is more about what you accomplish by yourself. And that is more like a fun way of gamifying, maybe working with your colleagues together. It is actually, I would say, nearly like Miro. There's a lot of use cases for companies and working in teams. But when it comes down to productivity, I prefer more something like Milanote, where you really get into your creative way, because that's where we're getting into flow state. And that makes us way more productive. If you are working by yourself, go for Milanote. If you're working in a team, go for Lucidspark. But even in that, there's pros and cons. So the pros are you have suitable for group work or any collaborative work. But as mentioned before, for productivity, we might want to consider Milanote. But the good thing about collaborative work, we can tag them. It is not really expensive for organizations. So in terms of the pricing, if we are a bigger company and working with a lot of different people, this might be a quite cheap option and not a bad option as well. But for individual needs, $10 is too expensive. And I would definitely recommend you using Milanote because it's also $10 and more simple to use. And the free option is probably similar to Miro, so it's not a bad thing, but guys, there are better options later on in this video. And cons, it is too much of a fun thing. It can become super full. There's no specific folder structure, where Milanote definitely takes the hand in that. And yeah, it is too expensive for an individual. So coming down to one of the most interesting things is Obsidian. I think Obsidian, most of you heard about Obsidian already. It is the digital note-taking app with canvas function. So it actually combines some aspects of Milanote and Lucidspark, but also combines some good documentation where Milanote and Lucidspark is lacking. So that is pretty good. We also have some additional links and graphs, which does provide a big value. Because with links, we can do more a connected way of thinking about certain stuff, which does make a huge difference. Then we have the graph options, which makes a good way of connecting things even better. Then we have the canvas version, so we can still have our documenting and interesting, and we can also have like things like a wiki. So it might make documenting things outside of documenting notes simple. We have a lot of plugins. It is already a well-built app and is already long on the market, similar like Notion is. We can also publish. And I think there's not really much to say negative about Obsidian. It is entirely for free, so I can't really say anything negative about it. So as a pro, it is offline, it is safe and stored on a device, and it also has a canvas feature and note-taking feature and a second brain option whatsoever. And for cons, yeah, it is entirely for free for personal use. If you use it for commercial, it's just $50 a year. We can have add-ons, which are also not expensive. And in early access, we have no idea what this is because I don't use Obsidian, I use Kortex. But yeah, I think there's nothing negative to say about Obsidian. So if you're really looking into note-taking and second brain thinking with a canvas option, this might be the best solution for you. But it is not really similar to Notion. So there's other options which go closer to Notion if you are more interested in Notion. So coming to Kortex. While explaining about Obsidian is a perfect combination actually to getting into Kortex. Because Kortex is perfect for creating content, writing and everything that hits. And it's honestly, I tested out for 2 months and it's in the beta version and it's actually not public yet. So we can have good early access, and I already have early access since 2 months. And it's also produced by a bigger YouTuber named Dan Ko, which I'm a huge fan. And it is honestly the best second brain so far. We have a lot of different specific workflows. We have a fast writing system, which brings additional organization. We have a digital garden, means every book we read and everything is connected in our second brain, which makes writing with tagging and every keyword super long-term sustainable. It is quite minimalistic, as you see here, writers, creators, and note-taking. We have a great capture feature, which actually combines capturing to specific documents while you're on the go, because sometimes you don't want to miss an idea, and that's exactly what Kortex does perfectly. And then we also have specific good, interesting features. We have elements where you can have specific groups together. Then we can also never lose an idea, as mentioned before, with a capture feature, and we have specific knowledge. Own your knowledge. Yeah, we can download as markdown. Yeah. We can also share our notes and writing with it. We have the highlight, as mentioned before, with a Readwise app together. And yeah, so there's a lot of things coming up and it's still in the beta. But if you are a beginner as a writer and second brain person, I think Kortex is a great way to start. So for the pros, it is super beginner friendly. It is entirely for free, where I will come up to the pricing anytime soon. It has a community with courses on how to actually use Kortex and the second brain, which does brings a lot of value to beginners, because there's a lot of beginner people probably in this, because I was one of the beginners in terms of writing, so it helps me a lot. For the cons, yeah, it is still in the beta, so they don't have a lot of experience compared to Obsidian, because Obsidian is a long time on the market already, so it might makes it way simpler, because it is so established in the market already. And Kortex still have a few bugs and limitations. I think they will be great in the future, and I already love it now. But yeah, it is limited so far about writing. And in terms of pricing, I think it does nothing bad. You can have the free option. I think it does provide most of the valuable information for you. If you want to go a bit more enhanced with a Readwise function and tags, I would go for the monthly or $14 seat or yearly. But I'm already on the premium because I'm a huge fan. I want to support all of this stuff, and I'm really interested where Kortex is going to be in the future. So yeah, that is something I definitely want to recommend. And yeah, as I mentioned before, it's actually like Obsidian. If you use Obsidian or Kortex, that's really up to you. It is both a perfect document writing software. Obsidian does combine the Canvas version, which might be a bit interesting for you. But there's also other versions where we come up later now, where it gets more into Notion. So we're here right now in Anytype. Anytype is actually kind of like Notion and Obsidian combined, which is good and interesting. But what they do really, really bad is the website. The website does not really explain anything at all. And the first time I was on the website, I'm like, what the heck are they actually doing? And then after a longer look into the website, I'm like, oh, okay, they're actually doing some Notion and Kortex, Obsidian combination. But if this does not solve the problem when you're getting on a website and you don't understand the first thing when you're on this website, they do a huge lose of people. Because I think the app is pretty good actually, because it combines Notes and Notion and Obsidian. But if you don't have an idea of what they're actually doing and how the system works, I don't think it makes much sense, because right now I don't even know how it is going to look like in the app. So I would not further look, because it's already too complicated on the website. I mean, it looks great with all the ideas, habit tracker, daily journal. And yeah, here you have like the community page. And I think it looks like a pretty good system. But I think the systems later on are a bit more interesting for you. And coming for the pros, actually, it is offline, which is pretty good. It is safe and stored on a device, which is also great. It's also a pretty good alternative for people who want to use Notion and Obsidian combined, but the cons about this is still strong, and honestly, you have no idea what the features are on the website because it's too complicated. And if you can't pick up someone on the first couple of minutes on the website, no one will purchase or get this app. And if you're honestly trying to do everything, you're trying to reach no one. That is one of the big problems. In terms of pricing, nothing special. I really go quickly. I think for everyone, especially for you, the free version is fine. The $100 per year is also not too bad. But yeah, there's better apps, and we get into the two better apps right here. So first of all, we're starting with Whimsical. This is the second recommendation I would give you when you are looking into something like Notion. It combines pretty well Notion and a Canvas version, similar to Milanote, as we can see here. It is also a combination with developers and Figma. So if you use Figma before, it is kind of like that we can build design a lot for developers, and also website developers, front end, back end. Probably front end, yeah, not back end. Yeah, so infinite canvas for collaboration, all of this stuff is here. I think for that use case, Whimsical is perfect, and also for people who like to solve problems. So for the pros, we target problem solvers who like Notion with Canvas. It's also suitable for developers, engineers, and teams, and is also free of personal usage, and it does have an AI integration. Couple of cons. It is probably not suitable for writers and second brains, but for that we have Kortex and Obsidian. So if you like two apps, you use, let's say, Obsidian or Kortex, and then you use Whimsical, I think you're totally fine with it. But the last option is a bit better, where you come right now. In terms of pricing, pretty well, free, $10 per month or $12, and I think we have everything in these two options. We don't really need to go for the $20. So coming to the actually best alternative for Notion, which is Affine. Affine AI, Affine in general. And what Affine does great compared to Anytype, on the first minute of when you're entering the website, you're like, okay, I can write, I can draw, and I can plan all at once with AI. I exactly know what I'm getting. Then they have this feature video where you can see, okay, we have a doc function and a canvas function here. So it does look like Notion, super simple, explained. There's a huge canvas version, and then we have a document version. And honestly, it looks so organized, and you just look at once and you just totally understand what this app is about. I think it does provide a really good benefit. You can see here it's a product of the day. And I think this is the best Notion alternative I've found so far in my research. I've done a bit longer research. This video is not getting into too much detail. I do the newsletter version of the written a bit more. I also will go more into detail in future videos, but Affine seems pretty good, as I've seen here. I will not switch to Affine. So my recommendation for you is I would use Affine because it does provide everything you need if you don't want to use Notion. Notion, the complexity of Notion is too difficult because we need to build everything by ourselves. So if you don't want to build everything by yourself and want to use the Minecraft and IKEA system of Notion, I think Affine is exactly the solution you need to get for your productivity, because it actually combines also a second brain as well. So I think we can use only Affine and get everything what we want out of it. Sure, there are limitations, and maybe Kortex or Obsidian is doing a bit better in terms of writing and linked thinking. But in terms of Notion and Canvas options, that's the best. And I think you should definitely go for Affine. Test it out. I don't switch to Affine now because I'm already used in Notion, Milanote, and Kortex. So switching as another productivity app another time is just too much of a shiny object syndrome. So I stick to my three primarily software. But I think, yeah, Affine, write, draw, organize, plan, track. There's no other option. So for the pros of Affine, you can write, draw, plan, and connect and do so much more. It solves Notion problems with Canvas, and it even supports the AI. And also Canvas is actually missing in Notion. They might probably include it there, but so far it does not really make sense. And I think it's also entirely for free, which is also a big use case for that. And also the options are a bit cheaper, but I'm coming to that in a few seconds. Then for the cons, we might face limitations which people don't have with Notion, because in Notion we can build whatever we want. But yeah, as a beginner, the pro is that we don't need to build that. It's free forever. So similar to Notion and Kortex and Obsidian actually. It also have a Canvas version, which is cheaper than Milanote. Maybe I will switch off Milanote, but yeah, so far I don't want to switch again. And yeah, coming down to the pricing actually, we have free forever, $7 per month. And I think that's the both options we need. We don't need anything more, because free forever. And if we really need more, $7 a month or $6.75 doesn't break a leg, because it combines Notion, Milanote, for example, and Kortex, Obsidian. So I think if you're looking for a one solution, it would be Affine. So that's actually it. That's my entire 7 thing. The blog post of this video where I'm writing it actually will be published on my website. All the links are down in the description. They're also going to be updated. So if you're interested in more stuff like that, please give me a feedback. If you want that I'm getting more into the details of the features and of the softwares, please leave a comment and also tell me which software I should go more into in-depth. And yeah, thanks for watching this video until the end. All the information and newsletter is down in the description below. Thank you for your trust, and until my next video. Bye.